everyone, and welcome to WGBS TV Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the number one Superman fan site in the world. My name is Steve Eunice. In this, our August 18th, 2020 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including DC FanDome. We're going to be talking about Zack Snyder skateboarding through the Man of Steel set. We're going to talk so much more, comic books, everything else. And we're also going to take your questions and comments on any particular Superman topic you would like to discuss. And to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show, let me introduce you to my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
Yeah, doing well. And yourself?
Doing fine. But they don't want to hear about me. They don't want to hear about you. The people watching this show right now live on YouTube want to hear about Superman. And they may even want to get on the action. And if we don't have too much on the docket, they may actually get to do that. So how do they do that? Well, they're going to need Skype. They go onto Skype, find Superman homepage, and then message us that they'd like to be on the show. Now, a couple of important things. Message us. Don't just try to call us, because that can kind of screw things up for us, and our technology is tenuous at best. Also, if you use an external speaker to watch WGBS Live, please turn that off, because we are on a bit of delay. So hopefully you know that if you listen to that speaker, it might screw things up and make things even more uncomfortable than my explanation of it. So there you go.
Now, for those of you tuning in live via YouTube to watch tonight's show, we invite you to join in and chat with fellow fans. Post your comments and ask questions, and Michael and I will keep an eye on those questions and comments throughout the show, and we'll react to them as necessary. And if you want your comment featured live on the screen during the show, you can use a super chat. All you have to do is click on the dollar symbol on the screen there. A slider will appear on your screen. You decide on a dollar amount you're willing to donate, and we will feature your comment or question on the screen. And a huge thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. We appreciate your support. Well, Michael, it's another week in the world of Superman. Anything kind of come across your screen this week that you thought was interesting?
To be fair, I've been really busy at work. Really not a whole lot, shockingly. It's been really quiet, but we kind of thought that would happen last week because we got Fandom coming up this. Wow, is that Saturday?
Storm. Yeah, it is this Saturday.
That is. Oh, sorry. I have 2020. I have no concept of time, anyways. But this past week, I've had like zero. I literally thought it was Thursday all day today, and then I realized it was Tuesday, which is probably good because we do the show on Tuesdays and not Thursdays.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, it's just one of those things where I think they're probably saving like all of the big things that they would announce for Fandom. And it looks like, I know we'll be getting to it probably a little later, but it looks like there's actually going to be Superman content, which shocked me. I thought Fandom was going to be nothing but CW shows and Batman.
Yeah, there's quite a few things Superman related. I had a few friends who said, I don't see anything. What are you looking at? I'm going, here, I'll post an article which we'll get to. I had a comment from Michael saying, awesome shirt. Yeah, this is my Action Comics 1000 t-shirt, which I haven't worn in a while, so thank you for noticing, Michael. Alright, well, let's start in on the movie stuff, and just today an exclusive Sci-Fi Wire preview clip was posted for the upcoming Superman Man of Tomorrow animated film, which will actually have its world premiere at DC, or during DC FanDome. And here's a snippet of that. I won't post the whole thing because we'll get copyright blocked. But here is the preview clip from Sci-Fi Wire with a very famous quote.
Look! Up in the sky! Whoa. Hey, maybe we should... Is that supposed to...
Well, that's just a snippet of this preview clip where his rocket seems to be going haywire and heading back to Metropolis. And I guess you can probably guess what's going to happen next in that clip. Yeah, but you can, if you haven't seen it at all, head to our website. The clip is available to watch in total.
he goes and reports the story, right? He just
That's right.
reports on all the death and destruction that rains down from the heavens. And I don't really have sound for the stuff that you play, so it's kind of funny that I was just watching that. I was just hearing dun 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 dun.
Yeah, so the clip is available to watch on our website. The movie is going to be released on September 8th on Blu-ray Combo Pack and 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray Combo Pack, as well as digital, I think, coming up next week. So you will be able to watch that very shortly. And as I said, it will be premiered at DC FanDome. So you can make sure, or you can watch that as well this coming weekend.
So they're just going to show the movie during the thing that's free, or do you have to pay for that?
DC
I don't understand how that
FanDome is
works.
free, so
yeah,
I'm not sure how that's going to work. What's going to happen there? How? I mean, because you're pretty much just showing it for free for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, more power to them. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it'll still sell well despite that.
Yeah, interesting. I'm not sure what. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that in a second. But as I mentioned at the top of the show, Zack Snyder shared this video of himself via his Vero social media account, in which he gets on a skateboard and goes through the Man of Steel Kryptonian set. Check out this. There he goes, skateboarding through the Jarrell and Lara's house.
I just see that, and it's just like expect him to like show up and say, "Hey kids, stay in school and don't smoke." I don't know. I think it's fascinating that he's I guess, is he uncovering this stuff as he's prepping Justice League? Like he found like an old folder, and it because that happens to me sometimes. I'll be like, what the heck is that? Oh, I remember I recorded that 15 years ago for such and such. And okay, he's got his own Vimo thing, so, or whatever, Vizio. What is the
Vero.
thing that he does?
Vero social
Vero.
media.
I can't keep up with it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. He seems like he's pretty adept at a skateboard. So yeah, interesting. I don't know if the Warner powers at Warner Brothers be happy that he's spending his time on expensive sets skateboarding around, but I guess when you're the director, you do what you do.
I think given the previous director that worked on a Superman film for Warner Brothers, they were happy he was just on the set at all.
Yeah. Indeed. All right, just the last thing on the movie side of things before we move on to discuss about DC FanDome and other things tonight. The movie, Superman the movie from 1978, is getting a great run at theatres and drive-ins and things around America, I guess due to the fact that not a lot of big movies or new movies are being released at the moment, so they're doing a lot of classic films at different theatres across the US. And this week we have a number of movies being shown, theatres showing Superman the movie, including the Clark Cinemas, very aptly now named cinema, Clark Cinema 10 in Enterprise, Alabama, the Showcase Cinema Deluxe Springdale in Springdale, Ohio, the Showcase Cinema in Warwick, Rhode Island, Hall's Cinema 7 in Knoxville, Tennessee, and the Megaplex Theatres, South Jordan, the District in South Jordan, Utah. So various times that the movie, Superman the movie, will be playing at those locations. So if you happen to live in one of those areas, get to it.
Yeah, before it was just like, it's going to be in New York, it's going to be in Dallas, it's going to be in London, and now it's just like, hey, have you ever heard of this town in Utah? They're getting Superman the movie. I mean, I'm happy about it again, because I love that, it's like no one wants to live in a pandemic, and no one wants to go through what, especially, people in the States are going through with the various things that are happening because of this thing. So any bright spot, I'm not gonna sit here and mock. Not that I would mock Superman the movie anyways, but still, it's just it's just kind of funny that for years I was just like, why does it never come near me? And now, like, these really small little towns across the United States, it's just like, we'll show it. It's just like, really? Okay, well, I guess I just
Why
took a
not?
pandemic. Perfect.
Indeed. So you can find the times and days for those screenings at our website. Look for the Superman at the Movies weekly segment or weekly feature that we post on the website. All right, let's move to the TV side of things. And even though we might not see Supergirl until mid-2021, the new season 6, the CW have been promoting the upcoming new season with some new character posters. And they released these character posters. This one of Supergirl, Melissa Benoist there, and another one of Dreamer, Nia Nal, for 2021, and some interesting background behind these posters. They're obviously using comic book imagery to back the characters in these posters, which is really cool.
Yeah, a buddy of mine on Twitter, Dr. Ange, pointed out that the background of Supergirl is that main background in the center is the cover of Action Comics number 700.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird that they're using that and that the Jimmy Olsen in there doesn't match the Jimmy Olsen on the show. But when he pointed that out, I was like, look at that! They're using Eric. That's one of my favorite covers. So, no, I love that they're promoting this the way they are. It gives it such a like the CW has always been good about nodding to the comic book roots, but actually having like comic book images behind them, it just makes it even better.
Yeah, indeed. And as I said, we won't see Supergirl season 6 until mid-2021, and that's mainly due to the fact that Melissa Benoist is pregnant at the moment with her first child. So not just pandemic delays, but also a pregnancy. Then on the back of that, they released some images, some poster images for the Superman and Lois characters. Namely, this one of Bitsy Chulok as Lois Lane with some cool Daily Planet and Lois Lane comic book imagery behind her there. And then this one of Tyler Heckland as Superman for the upcoming Superman and Lois TV series. Now, do you notice some changes to his costume?
I didn't stare too closely, but it looks like the belt's a little different. You still got the cape clasp, and the texture of it looks a little different too.
Yeah, and there's also not those yellow kind of bits coming out of the behind the S that they used to have.
Yeah, and that looks a lot slicker. I'll say I didn't mind. See, I'm not one of the people that was like particularly bothered by the costume. Yeah. I was just so happy that they got the character right. I'm like, I can overlook these little things, but if they've done a couple little tweaks to make it more traditional, I'm all for it. I think it's kind of ironic that a Superman that is so close to, like an amalgamation of like Lois and Clark and the pre and post crisis Superman and Christopher Reeve, like all rolled into one, all of the artwork behind him is New 52.
Yeah. Which
isn't what that character is like at all. I mean, this is literally this, like, what, you're not going to do any rebirth, like, where he actually has a kid. Doesn't that make a little more sense? But, it's got Jim Lee artwork, and, that happens.
Yeah, and I guess it's probably closest in design to the costume that they're using, the fact that there's no red trunks. So
Yet.
So, that's the character posters they've been releasing to date. We don't know when they'll release any more. John's asking, where was the Supergirl cast on the Fandome schedule talking about Season 6? We'll get to the schedule for DC Fandome in a sec. Melissa Benoist won't be in attendance at DC Fandome or won't be part of it, but there is lots of stuff happening. So, John, we will look at that schedule in a second. So appreciate your super chat there asking that question. But Superman and Lois will air on Tuesday nights starting in January 2021 at 9 p.m. following The Flash. So a good night for the TV series.
Yeah, but I am so happy that it's on the same night as The Flash. that's a no-brainer of if I'm home that I'm going to just be watching both anyways. So.
All right, so on to the DC FanDome things. First off, it's happening this Saturday, August 22nd, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time. If you're in the US, it is a worldwide global event, so the time difference will obviously affect you depending on where you are in the world. It will mostly be a Sunday here in Australia when these things will be happening, but you can head to dcfandome.com for further details. Jim Lee designed the whole thing as far as the map and the worlds are concerned, and here's a video of him talking about how he came up with this particular designing of DC FanDome.
This was an amazing, very cool, unique experience. I actually came up with the overall map for DC FanDome, right? The center Hall of Heroes Island, and then the 5 different islands that kind of float around it. I saw that there are 3 statues of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and then this giant kind of auditorium behind it. So first I sat down and I drew the Trinity.
There you have it. Just him talking about creating the Trinity statues, and then the worlds that surround DC FanDome and the different areas. So it's pretty cool. He's, whatever you think of his artwork, you got to admit he's got talent.
My only issue with Jim Lee's artwork in general is that 9 times out of 10, it's flashy. Especially when the Flash is involved. It's flashy and it's poster worthy on a lot of pages, and it's really good. It doesn't have like as much sequential storytelling as I like. It's more like
static
image
images.
after image after image. No pun intended there. But I like his artwork. I have liked his artwork since I was 16 years old. I think even his New 52 Superman costume, I'm like, yeah, it's not a bad costume. It's not my preference. But, I just, he is kind of the face of DC Comics right now, especially now with everything that's happened. So, him designing that was, the way it looks. I mean, they're really going all out on this thing.
Yeah, and it was interesting to hear in the background there the Ruby Spears Superman theme being used behind him talking.
So I know we're probably going to get to the layoffs sooner rather than later, but there is something really kind of interesting that I've noticed about Fandom, because we talked about it. We talked about them using the Superman theme. I think AT&T owning DC Comics, there are pluses and minuses to it. And there's some healthy discussions to have about, characters you love being treated as nothing but intellectual properties to be exploited financially. But it's really cool that they seem to be really opening up, like, everything. Like, if you're going to use the Ruby Spears Superman theme, either somebody just stumbled on it or somebody's a fan. But who hears that? I mean, it was done by Ron Jones, who, if you watch Star Trek, he did probably one of the most famous music cues of The Next Generation, which was when they reveal that Picard has become a Borg, and the dun dun dun. That's the same guy that did the Superman music, and I just love that everything's coming to light now. So So it's just like on one hand I'm like grrr, but on the other hand I'm like yes. So it's kind of a weird feeling to be in. Yeah. It's kind of like 2020 in general.
Yes, it's so true. So that was really cool to see. And then off the back of that, DC released the full schedule for DC FanDome, and they came up with a nice poster image for that as well using Jim Lee's artwork. So the full schedule is available at schedule.fandome.com, and there are some interesting items in there which we'll go through. The timetable includes things like the world premiere of Superman Man of Tomorrow, a preview of Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League, Superman and Lois TV panel, and much more. And you can build your own custom schedule at schedule.dcfandome.com, which I did doing for the Superman homepage, created one and highlighted for fans many of the great Superman panels that will be available. A lot of the watchable, I think it's Watchverse, things that are, or maybe it's Insideverse, one of those, has a lot of the behind-the-scenes documentary, special feature, bonus material from DVD and Blu-ray releases over the years. And so a lot of those you might go, I don't need to watch that because I've got that already, or they've already released some of them online on YouTube, and they'll be on demand so you can watch them at any time. You don't need to actually watch them on the schedule itself.
I am actually kind of hoping that if they're going to do this like they're doing it now, that this becomes a thing. Because I love the different, little mini featurettes and documentaries that they've done over the years. And I would love to just, like, on HBO Max or on the DC Universe app, just have all of that stuff available that you can just watch. Because I would sit there and just binge through all of it.
So true.
Because some of it's really well done. And let's do the behind the scenes stuff from Superman Returns that was on the DVD release.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they could see you.
Exactly. I don't know if they want to see any more of me. But let's go through it. And all these times are Eastern Daylight Times for the US that I'm about to talk about. But you can, in the schedule there, actually select your own local time so that the panels, you don't have to sit there and try to figure out the time difference. The panels will be listed in your own time zone. You just have to, personalize it for yourself. But the big ones are obviously the Snyder Cut of Justice League panel, which is a 25-minute panel. So I don't know how much we're really going to get there. Probably a trailer. I'm sure that Snyder's been working hard putting together a trailer for the upcoming release of his film. This is on Saturday the 22nd, obviously, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Zack Snyder fields questions from fans and a few surprise guests as he discusses his eagerly awaited upcoming cut of the feature film and the movement that made it happen. So that'll be a 25-minute panel. Other than a trailer, do you think we will see or hear anything more from him in that 25-minute period?
I have a feeling that it's going to be more than like a 3-minute trailer. I don't think it's going to be like a sizzle reel, but I have a feeling that it's going to be. If it's not 5 minutes, I'd be surprised. Simply because you have all these eyes on it, and it's going to be over a 2-hour film, so 5 minutes of that really isn't a whole lot of time. But I haven't looked at the done my own schedule yet because I don't know how Saturday's going to go. I may be unconscious most of the day, so but the more I see about it, the more I'm like, yeah, this might be fun.
Well, I don't know which one of the actors, whether it was Ray Porter or one of the others, said that the Snyder's trailer for his cut of the film is better than the whole of Joss Whedon's movie, which is probably a bit facetious.
I was about to say that feels like a little shade being thrown.
Yeah, exactly.
But he might be right.
We'll wait and see and judge for ourselves. Another interesting one from the the Hall of Heroes section of DC FanDome is the Suicide Squad game Kill the Justice League by Rocksteady. This is a 20-minute panel. Will Arnett hosts the highly anticipated video game reveal from Rocksteady Studios, creators of the Batman Arkham franchise. Whether it's Superman or Bizarro that we've seen, that poster image will be revealed, I guess, in this. But seeing it's called Kill the Justice League, I guess you can pretty much judge that the Suicide Squad is being tasked in this video game to take down Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern, etc.
It's I can't wait for the tie-in comic. He said, kind of sarcastically.
New Injustice line, but Suicide Squad line, huh?
Yeah, it just really it depends on how the game is played. I mean, the idea of hunting down the Justice League is kind of cool. What I think would be interesting, not that I'm like a huge gamer, but maybe have it where you can play from either perspective. So you're either playing as the Suicide Squad characters or you're playing as the Justice League, and you can have two different outcomes based on that.
Yeah. So then over on the Watchverse area of DC FanDome is where the Superman and Lois panel will take place at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a bird as a planet, Superman and Lois. Join DC Chief Creative Officer, Publisher, well, he's not actually, he's not publisher anymore, Jim Lee, in a conversation with executive producer, showrunner Todd Helbing, and series stars Tyler Heckland and Elizabeth Tulloch, as they discuss the history of Superman from the comics to the screen, what fans can expect from the upcoming series, and the significance of the characters in the world of today. Fans will be encouraged to follow along as Jim Lee shows the panelists how to draw the iconic Superman emblem and then share their own versions. Join the fun and show your hope using hashtag DC FanDome. And that's a 30-minute, so half-hour panel there with Tyler Heckland and Bitsy Tulloch.
They're going to make him draw? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Let's see. So scrolling down, the world premiere of Superman Man of Tomorrow. And it says here, be among the first fans to witness the world premiere screening of Superman Man of Tomorrow. It's the dawn of a new age of heroes. Just blah, 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 with all the details of the film. The feature-length animated film will be released, on August 23rd on digital, and then September 8th on Blu-ray. So it looks like they're actually going to be screening the film at 7:15 p.m. on Saturday, 22nd of August. It's a 90-minute schedule, panel, or whatever, a feature if you like. So that fits.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's really weird.
And then it's followed by a 50-minute panel where, what does it say here? You've got join a lively discussion of the inner workings of bringing this Superman tale to animated life with Darren Criss, Brett Dalton, Ryan Hurst, and Ike Amadi, alongside supervising producer Butch Luchik, director Chris Palmer, screenwriter Tim Sheridan. So this will be like a Q&A panel, I guess, if you like, afterwards with the creative people behind this new animated film. And as I said, this is a 50-minute one, and it follows directly after the world premiere at 8:45 p.m.
That makes sense. I mean, it's what they would have. That's what they would have done at like Comic-Con, anyways. I mean, I have a feeling this would have been their world premiere movie.
Yes, exactly. They've done that in New York or in LA, where they've had the world premiere and then followed by a Q&A panel with some of the actors and creative people involved, and on the red carpet. We've usually sent one of our reporters to either or, and have got those situations taking place. There's different, cast audio play performance with the Young Justice crew. There's in making the Injustice video games, Legion of Superheroes panel, Metalverse tour, mostly deceased panel, Superman, an enduring symbol of hope panel. This will be at 12:15 p.m. on the Sunday, 23rd of August, in the Watchverse section. For more than 80 years, Superman has remained an icon of truth, justice, and hope. Some of the most celebrated Superman storytellers gather to talk about how the Man of Steel remains as relevant as ever, providing hope in the most difficult of times. And this is also a 25-minute panel.
That seems like a bad idea to just have that be a 25-minute panel, but
seems like you could do a lot more.
Yeah, I guess. As somebody that crammed 80 years of Superman history into an hour, it's 25 minutes is insane.
Yeah. So in the Inside Verse section of DC FanDome, there's, like I said, some of the behind-the-scenes featurettes that you've seen in different movie releases. The Look Up in the Sky, The Amazing Story of Superman, which was recently released on YouTube. Same with Secret Origin, the story of DC Comics. That's also been released on YouTube recently. The Sonic Landscape of Man of Steel. This is looking at the recording studio with Hans Zimmer, as he takes note of the instruments and musicians that helped bring together the Man of Steel musical score. I think that was also part of the Man of Steel Blu-ray collection. These are all on demand, these ones. Smallville, Absolute Justice, From Script to Screen, Smallville, Behind Closed Doors, Inside the Writer's Room. Again, these have all been part of Blu-ray releases or DVD releases over the years. There are a couple of panels, How Supergirl Celebrates Strong Women. Take a heartfelt and powerful DC inside-verse trip with the stars and producers of Supergirl as they celebrate the show's title character and her embodiment of female power. This is only a 5-minute segment. Again, on demand. I'm not sure if that's been something that was being released previously on a DVD or Blu-ray package. But yeah, so there's some panels there that are on demand. You can watch any time, but they will be available from a specific time onwards.
Yeah, I sorry, you said Hans Zimmer. I kind of laughed a little bit because I recently watched a video. It was either Vanity Fair or GQ have been doing these, taking somebody and having them go through their career. And they did Hans Zimmer. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to watch Hans Zimmer. I can't wait to hear him talk about the Man of Steel score.
Nothing.
Never happened. No. So it was kind of interesting. And for those that have not seen the video, let me sum it up like this. Hans Zimmer always thinks that the movie will never work and then realizes that the movie is going to work. It seemed to be a constant in his stories.
There you go. And there is a DC surprise panel that's listed there, and we will have someone covering most of these panels for us and reporting on them if you didn't get a chance to go and see them. There's a lot of speculation about whether Henry Cavill will appear in a surprise panel of, if there will be some kind of a Superman announcement for a movie. I guess a lot of it's wishful thinking at this point in time. I don't know how much has gone on behind the scenes at DC at the moment, working on anything with all the layoffs and what's happened. So, but it'll be interesting to see what this surprise panel is supposed to be all about.
Yeah, I am kind of curious about it. I doubt it will be anything involving Superman. In all honesty, I just don't foresee that. I mean, I'll be happy if it is, but after all these years, I'm just so cynical and beaten down about how Warner Brothers treats Superman as a character in the adapted material. So I'm just like, no, they're never going to give me anything I want. So that way, when things like Superman and Lois happen, I'm actually really happy.
Now, in the comments, we've got a question from Anthony asking, will the Superman homepage be covering the DC FanDome panels in various live streams? We won't be doing any live streaming because it seems pointless since most people will be at DC FanDome watching all their live streams. So while we won't be doing any live streaming, we will be covering the most important Superman and obviously Zack Snyder's Justice League panel and reporting on those for anyone who wasn't able to be there and or watch those and maybe miss something. We'll be giving you a rundown of the most prominent panels, and we have 3 reporters covering different things for us. So be sure to check out our reports after the fact. I'm not sure how long the DC FanDome website will remain online as far as being able to watch some of those things that they, the panels and some of the videos and things that they release. And it says 24 hours only, so I'm sure things will go up on YouTube as they've already done, but it will give you reports on everything and give you a rundown of anything you may have missed.
Yeah, like I said, it would be really awesome if they just made this stuff available, even edited versions of it, so that you're not watching the whole thing. But here's the thing: they're making this free, so it's not like this is a Hall H thing, right?
Yep.
So it just makes sense to make it available afterwards.
Exactly. So it's not like you had to have a ticket, and therefore anybody else who gets to see it is kind of stealing it from you because you didn't have to pay for it in the first place. No ticket or badge required. And to celebrate DC FanDome, Twitter and DC have teamed up for a series of new emojis. So new emojis, get hyped for DC FanDome with new Twitter emojis including Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Cyborg, The Sandman, and so many more. You simply type your hashtag and the name of your favorite DC character, movie, or TV show. And some examples, you can do it for hashtag Superman and Lois, and that will give you a Superman symbol next to that. Obviously, Superman and Supergirl have their own hashtags, symbol, little emojis. So, different emojis available for different characters and movies and TV show names. So, if you're on Twitter, use those.
I plan to now. That's really exciting, actually.
So there you have it. All right, well, we're well over the halfway point of tonight's program. We're going to take a quick break, play some messages, and then come back on the flip side to discuss the comic book side of things. So stay with us. We'll be back right after these messages. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman in Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
Just try one. If you don't like it, it's easy to give up.
Uh-oh, nicotine. I'd better move fast. Up and away!
Go on, kid, go on.
Superman, is it hard to give up smoking, or is it easy like nicotine says?
You no-good windbag, nicotine.
No, Superman. Leave me one. Please, I need one. Just...
That's how hard it is. That's why I never say yes to a cigarette.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
So we're back on WGBS TV Live, where if you want to be part of our show, you can search for us using Skype and send us a message saying you want to be part of the show tonight. But on the comic book side of things for Superman fans, there is a couple of comic books available this week as of Tuesday, August 18th, and they are... Whoops, turn that one off. The Dark Knight's Death Metal Guidebook #1 is available this week. I'm not sure what that entails, but that is available also in a variant cover. And we've got a couple of preview pages up on the website as well. I think it probably gives you a rundown of what's going on in that. Also available this week is Justice League #51, and that is also available in a very cool variant cover. And I'm not sure why, but there doesn't seem to be any DC digital first Superman Man of Tomorrow issue available this week. But if you're reading Injustice Year Zero, then the 4th chapter is available to download right now. All 4 chapters of this 14 chapter story are available, and this is a prequel to the Injustice comic book, and is quite an interesting read if you're a comic book reader. So that is what's available this week in the world of Superman for comic book readers.
Yeah, they keep putting up like JSA and All-Star Squadron characters, and I'm just like, maybe I really should just read this.
I believe Lois Lane has an interesting character turn in this story, 4th chapter as well. And this past week, DC also released their November solicitations, and we highlighted for you all the Superman-related comic books that will be shipping in November. And of special note was keep forgetting to turn off previous graphics. In this one, this is the cover to Action Comics 1027. Is Superman on the ropes? An epic battle rages across the skies of Metropolis. The House of Kent, Superman, Superboy, Supergirl, the Legion of Superheroes, Brainiac 5, the Young Justices, Connor Kent, all unite to face an enemy from another dimension unleashed by the Invisible Mafia. This kind of power can lay waste to an entire family of super people. All of this, plus the future of the Daily Planet revealed, another epic Superman story for the ages by the team of Bendis, Romita Jr. and Jansen.
Yeah, man, it's so weird not reading this stuff. I guess that sounds exciting. Is maybe the best way to say that.
And the other book available that is for special note this in November coming out is this very dark and mysterious Superman number 27 cover. A cosmic level threat has come to Metropolis. Sinma has travelled across the galaxy to unleash hell on Superman, and our hero must learn that this creature is so alien that he will have to reinvent how he's going to fight. To that end, Superman goes to the source to learn where this new nemesis came from, only to find himself in a corner of the galaxy he's never seen before, way off the map, and he may find the return journey even harder than getting there in the first place. So there you have Superman number 27. I didn't know there was a map to the universe.
I'm always behind on these things, so it doesn't surprise me that there is.
So yeah, a number of interesting solicitations coming out in November. Looks like there's a composite Batman Superman again in Batman Superman number 14. And lots of interesting trade paperbacks, including the tabloid edition hardcover of The Amazing World of Superman, which is solicited for... I'm trying to find the exact date for it. It's not till 2021. The 13th of April. Yes.
Yeesh. Forgot how far in advance they solicited this stuff.
Yeah. So, and lots of cool covers as well.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, completely innocuous, and 10 being like, what are you even remotely thinking? That Super Pets special that they're promoting in these solicitations. What was the pitch meeting for that like? You know what we need, guys? We need the Super Pets from DC Comics, which are always considered fun, and we gotta have blood coming out of Streaky's nostrils. I mean, it's just like, and I read that interview with Jim Lee where he's talking about the fact that Injustice is one of the various Injustice series apparently are one of the best-selling DC comics of the last, 20 years. Like, those things apparently had a wide audience. So I guess maybe that's what they're trying to tap into, but I see that and I'm just like, that's just gross.
Well, you're talking about the death metal November solicitations, and just having a quick look to show people what we're talking about here. So in November's death metal, we have November number 5 will reveal the Darkest Knight's true goal of remaking the multiverse in his image. Can Earth heroes rally together to make a last stand? And then in 2 one-shot tie-ins, the blood and guts and gratuitous violence of Lobo takes center stage, with while a world of evil super pets and more shows a glimpse to the nightmare realities the Batman Who Laughs has created. And there you have, like you said, evil versions of the super pets.
And this feels so gratuitous, it's not even funny.
Yeah, the Dark Knight's death metal thing, it just keeps powering on. These dark versions of these characters just seem to be selling so well. I'm with you, it just does seem pretty gratuitous.
And in 15 minutes after we get off, I will go outside and yell at clouds, just to let everyone know. And while I'm doing that, if any kid even comes remotely by my lawn, I will tell him or her to get off.
Very good, grumpy old man. Now, also, as part of the November solicitations, they've revealed the Justice League books will also be tying in to the death metal things, with a Doom Metal crossover beginning September 15th. And we've got covers for, that's number 53 there. There's Justice League number 54. Justice League number 55. Justice League number 56, which is an interesting one because we have the introduction of a character known as, what did they call him? Dark Mind? I think I'm probably, no, Mind Hunter. It's a crossover between Batman and amalgamation of Batman and Martian Manhunter. Of course, yeah, why not? And then there's Justice League number 57. And there's also an amalgamation of Batman with a different character, I believe, in this one. So they just seem to be, doing different versions of Batman because why not?
Yeah, he is their flagship character at this point.
Yeah, so Omega Knight is a Frankenstein's monster version of the Omega Titans from Justice League. Anyway. So,
it's like they're all words, but they make absolutely no sense to me.
So I'm with you there. So that's some of the Justice League books coming out. We also have, and as I said, Tom Taylor's a great writer, and these deceased line, if I turn off these ones, his deceased lines just seem to be going from strength to strength. We have Deceased #1 now in its 4th printing, and will feature an all-new cover by Peach Momoko, which you're looking at right now. And then Deceased Dead Planet #2 will also go for a 2nd printing and will feature a black and white version of the original cover by David Finch. And they both will arrive in stores on shelves September 15th.
That's apparently the next gift that's just going to keep on giving, I am assuming.
Deceased, like Injustice.
Yeah, it's going to be nothing but wall-to-wall alternative versions of the DC universe where everything goes pear-shaped, and then suddenly that's going to be the DC universe. So
I hope Tom Taylor took some residuals or something, because he would be a millionaire by now.
I am kind of wondering with the bonus structure if they still do like the incentives of if you sell a certain number of copies, then you get a certain bonus. So I'd be kind of happy about that, actually.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I believe we have a caller who is interested in joining us, and it's our semi-regular caller in Mark Lax. I'm going to try to bring him in now. So if Mark, you're waiting by, we will be bringing you in right now. So are you there, Mark?
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, there he is.
All right, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, doing well. And yourself?
Oh, not too bad. We're getting along, kind of tough, but we're making do.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So what's been on your mind in the world of Superman these last few weeks?
Well, right now, I think they're changing DC Comics to Death Comics. So DC stands for Death Comics. I just don't get all the darkness. I mean, of all times, all this dark stuff is coming out. I mean, that's the last kind of thing I want to read. I just want to be really. And I'm not saying they're not entertaining. I'm not saying they're bad, but I just want to read something that gives me some joy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Shag Matthews. Something to bring us joy. And I just don't see that. I don't see that coming. I don't know what's going to happen at the end of Death Metal, or things going to get better. And now everything going on with DC, who knows what's going to happen? It's just.
Yeah, it's hard to look forward to see any kind of promise. In the comments, we've got a question from Anthony asking if what's happening with the titles, other than Superman, are the other big hitter ones going to see print monthly, and then the C-listers or D-listers going to go straight to digital? I understand that Young Justice has seen its last, or has been solicited its final issue. So it seems to be that
Yeah,
we
I've
will
seen
get
that.
some titles being cut, and then we might see others going purely digital in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I don't know how it's all going to be worked out. It's sad, and it's, you know, tragic. All these people lost their jobs, and, you know, and also DC Universe. I'm crossing my fingers that at least DC Universe will stay for the comics, because that's really the only reason why I mean, oh yeah, don't get me wrong, I watch the shows and movies, but the main reason is because of the comics that I subscribe to it. So I'm just really hoping that at least stays up for the comics. But Jim Lee had said something the other day that seemed somewhat promising about it, and I don't, you know, you know what you can believe nowadays, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting times, I guess, with all the layoffs. We don't really know what the future of DC holds, because at the moment, the comic books that are being solicited, even up to November, have already been done. They're ready to go. They're in print, all that kind of stuff. But post-November, with these layoffs, it'll be interesting to see just how much of an impact it has when we get to the December solicitations, to see what titles will be on their final issue.
Right. I mean, I'm sure there are more than they've mentioned that are going to be, you know, they're going to be going away. I mean, I can't imagine the main Superman books would be doing that, but who knows? You know, who knows the future? I mean, you know, I'm digital now because I don't have an LCS close to me, and you know what? Reading comics with my eyes now. I mean, I'm over 50. Digital is better for me, but you know, a lot of people don't like digital. A lot of people just want to read the comics, and I get that. But
yeah,
I don't know what's gonna I don't know what's gonna happen to the stores, the comic book store. It's just really sad. But you know, it's a sad time. So you know, what can I tell you?
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, Michael. What do you think will happen with the books from December onwards? Do you think we'll see some kind of a cutback?
Oh, you're gonna see a cutback. I mean, the thing is that by these layoffs, DC wasn't the only company within Warner Brothers that had massive layoffs. It's the one that we're paying the most attention to, just because we're into comics.
Right.
So obviously that's going to be where our focus is. I have said on multiple occasions that, you know, I don't like Bob Harris as an editor-in-chief. At the same time, I don't want him to lose his job. At the same time, I'm kind of happy that, well, not happy that he lost his job, but I think, you know, given the two people that they're supposedly bringing in, it's going to make DC a completely different company. DC Comics has, for the past 20 years, been trying to kind of still navigate these waters as if they were the company they were like in the 90s. So we're going to do crossovers, and we're going to do all these other things. And you know, in the past like 3-4 years, they've really made an effort of trying to reach out to new audiences. You know, the YA line and all that kind of stuff. It's just an
New
effort
52.
To get as many eyes on these properties as possible. I don't think that they're going to get rid of comics completely. That would be stupid. I think you're right that it's going to be more like, you know, the big guns are going to have their own books, but the smaller lights will be digital, which actually may work out even better. Because then you have a better chance of it surviving a certain period of time. You know, it still has to make sales, but it's a lot easier to send somebody a link to Comixology to buy a book than it is to talk about it and say, hey, go to your LCS, and if they happen to have this, you're in good luck. So I'm really kind of heartbroken that so many good people lost their jobs at a really bad time. I mean, there's never a good time to lose your job, except like the day you win the lottery, maybe that's, you know, that kind of cancels out. But the fact of the matter is that this is a business. I don't like breaking it down to that because that dehumanizes the entire process. But I think DC Comics is going to be just fine. It's going to be really interesting to see where we are 5 years from now and to see what this did to the company and what direction they went in, and if they stuck with that direction.
Well, the people coming in are not comic book people, right? That they're kind of bringing in to
No,
run stuff.
the editors in chief are both people who were working at DC. You had one of the people. I forget their names. I did not write it down, but they're you got one that's really clued into the YA, that was running kind of the YA stuff that DC was doing, and the other that has a pretty good head. So I think in terms of the editors in chief, which is going to be weird to say, I think they're going to be fine. You know, they're looking. Lee said he was looking for a general manager, so that to run kind of the day-to-day operation, so that Lee could focus on the creative side of things. So it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see who they did, because the last time they brought someone like that in, it was Dan DiDio.
Right. And we don't know if we want to start with that again. But.
No, exactly.
No, I mean, is it going to be somebody who knows? But here's the other thing: Jeanette Kahn, who came in 1976, wasn't a comic book fan. Was in children's publishing, and look at where DC went after she took over.
With her,
yeah. Exactly.
So it's
a high level.
You can second guess these things in armchair quarterback, or whatever the economic version of armchair quarterback is, all day long. But the fact of the matter is that we're not going to know for sure how bad everything went until at least 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you calling in, Mark. It's always good to hear from you and get your perspective. But thanks again for calling in to WGBS TV Live.
All right, guys. Steve, I'm going to be in contact with you about Superman the Animated Series to do those reviews. And
excellent. Sounds good.
I know we've discussed it.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Guys.
See you later.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
That was Mark Lax. All right, Michael, we have just enough time to do a This Week in History. Here is your promo.
Okay.
Are you going to go for it, or...?
I got it.
Here we go.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bars of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
All right.
All right, let's do it really quick. 1940, we had Action Comics number 29, which has Superman in the life insurance scam. As I always like to joke in Golden Age stories, it seems like, insurance fraud was more of a problem than it was nowadays. Jumping to 1950, we have The Courtship on Krypton, which has a fun cover of Superman trying to prevent Lois.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Everything okay?
Yeah, no, go on with you.
And then at the same around the same time, you had Adventure Comics number 157, which has The Worst Boy in Smallville. So I'm sure that all turned out just fine. Jumping to 1960, released on August 16th, 1960, you had Superman pal Jimmy Olsen number 48, which had The Mystery of the Tiny Supermen. So I want them to do a live-action version of that. Jumping ahead to 1970, which was released on August 18th, 1970, was World's Finest Comics number 197, which had 2 Superman-Batman stories. Well, actually 3, excuse me. And it looks like it's just reprinting stories from before, so that's kind of fun. That's always cool when they do. I don't know. He's got the yellow. Superboy number 169 came out. It has Superboy mourning the death of Clark Kent. That's a fun cover. Jumping all the way ahead to 1990, y'all. Superman number 48. We're getting closer to the 30th anniversary of the engagement, but this was the first part of Kurt Swan month, and you had Superman meeting the character Sinbad. I don't know how they would treat that character these days. Same week, which was August 21st, 1990, World's Finest number 3, which was the wrap-up to the Dave Gibbons Prestige format book. Jumping ahead to 2000, we had Superman Last Son of Earth number 2 coming out on August 16th, 2000. And on the same day, Adventures of Superman number 583, which is continuing the Emperor Joker storyline. And that's all we have time for.
There we have it. So that was This Week in History. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. And we are already over time, so I want to thank everybody for watching WGBS TV Live. And once again, thanks to Mark who called us and everyone in the comments on YouTube for your participation. And a big thank you to my co-host, a very tired-looking Michael Bailey.
It's work, but I'm trying to be energetic for you, Steve. Pleasure as always.
Thank you. A huge thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, Tina Murray, and John Patrick Van Pelt. If you want to sponsor the Superman homepage, you can become a sponsor for as little as $1. The complete 1 hour video of tonight's show will remain available on the Superman homepage website and our YouTube channel if you want to watch it back in full. But we'll be back next week on Tuesday, August 25th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time for another edition of WGBS TV Live. Look forward to talking to you then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey. Thanks for watching WGBS TV Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com.